all right, that you don't have to be around and can generate money for you. You got a lot of internet businesses that are out there that you can get into, and there'll be little or no money, and it can generate income for you. You can do taxes. You can do other things that you can generate money off. All right, I've been thinking, you know, the Lord placed in my spirit. What's today? Today's Thursday. On Tuesday, no, it was last week. It was last weekend. I do a little part-time job with Uber at times. I do that to make a little extra money and take that money and put it into my investments. You see what I'm saying? Generate something to create assets. You see what I'm saying? And I've seen a sign on the door. I never really paid much attention to this before. Now I'm getting into finances and investing and things of that nature. I seen a man's name and it says CFP after his name, Certified Financial Planner. And the Lord said, that's something that you should look into because you want to help people, and I want you to help people. And I said, you know, Lord, you know I would really like to do that. But I said, Lord, if it's your will, you will give me the means or the financial means to pay for it, not to create another bill. Because I think the class is like $3,500 to take the class, and you get certified by the federal government, and I can go out and help people, help them financially plan. Now that I'm on that track, I can explain more from experience now because I'm in it now. You know what I'm saying? So I asked the Lord, if it's His will, whenever He sees fit, and He wants me to do that, and He creates income to pay for that without pulling money out of my pocket per se, creating a liability, then I'll go ahead and I'll take that course. I think it'll be very interesting, and I can help a lot of people. Praise be to God. All right, businesses, stocks, bonds, mutual funds. We're going to talk about that. I was talking to the guy about that. My representative at Scott Trade today, we was talking about stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. Real estate, that's another part. You can buy land, little or nothing, in certain areas of the country. You can do that as well. You gotta look, but you gotta look out for it. You can, perfect example. You see these shows on television. These buy these houses and fix them up and then flip them over. If you got some money around like that, you can do that. Or go in with some partners, and you can go there and you know something about carpentry and things of that nature. You can fix stuff up. Perfect money right there. You can generate money just like that, but then turn around within 6, 7, 8 months. Right there. There's opportunities out there if you're willing to use your talents to use what God has given you to bless others. And then in turn, He will bless you in return. All right? Royalties, if you have family members that have left you income that you have not been able to get to as yet, maybe you have to wait a few years or whatever it may be, a certain date that you can use it, then you need to look into that as well. And then lastly, anything which appreciates in value over time, anything that goes up in value, that's where you need to put your money in. All right? That's where you need to put your money in. All right. Let's look at lesson number 1 very briefly. Then we're going to get into, there's 3 lessons. There's 6 lessons. There's 6 lessons. We dealt with 3 weeks ago. Now we're going to continue out, and we're going to finish the last 3 on today. All right. The first lesson was the rich don't work for money. They don't work for money. They let their money work for them. Through what? Assets. Through assets. All right? Through assets. All right? And through that, as they invest something, and when that investment brings back a extra income, they take that money and invest it in something else to produce more income. That's what they do. That's where we have to get to that point. All right? Lesson number 2. Why teach financial literacy? I just told you. See? There's confirmation right there from God right there. And I wouldn't even think about this. We have to teach financial literacy to our children, so as our children get older, they become adults and they can understand the value of money and the purpose why God created it for us. Create financial literacy. Why we should teach it. Very, very important. All right? The scripture says that we perish because of what? The lack of knowledge. Praise be to God. Rich people acquire assets. The poor and middle class acquire liabilities, but think they are assets, which they're not. They're not assets. They're liabilities. All right? Making money is not nearly as important as how you spend what you make. Why? Because money only amplifies the cash flow pattern in your head. That's right. So what did we talk about earlier? Where your treasure is, there your heart will be. So if your treasure is in things, then money will only amplify the things that you want because you're going to keep going out purchasing more new things. The iPhone 7 just came out this week. You think I'm going to buy it? That's a negative. I'll wait till that darn other iPhone I got until it drops. Then I'll buy a phone. To that point, I ain't buying nothing. It ain't happening. You know, I really wouldn't have got my iPhone 6 Plus if my iPhone 4 would have never died. I had that phone for 5 years. 5 years I held on to that phone. And then when it died, I had no choice. I had to go get another phone. So we have to learn not to create liabilities. Create assets. Yes, I know you need a phone. Well, you said, Brother Tyrone, I need a phone. Yeah, you do. But don't put yourself in a position where you'll be paying things on, so much each month on that phone. If you can't afford it, don't buy it. Buy something else until you can work up to that phone. That's where the assets come in. Let your assets purchase your liabilities. Praise be to God. All right. Let's go to, let's see, I think that was number 2. Was that number? Oh, that was number 2. And let's go to number 3. Number 3. Mind your own business. What does that mean? Mind your own business. That's a good title there. The poor and middle class, we just talked about this, spend most of their time and energy working for other people. That is so true. Why? Because I'm going to tell you, in the African American community, in our families, the first thing they tell us, go to school, get an education, get you a job. Work for somebody. Go out there and get this. That job is hiring. Go out and get it. They never instill in us to create your own business. Do this for yourself. We're not taught that. All we have been learned, all we have been taught in our lifetime is to survive. Go to school and get you a job. We have not been taught how to create assets to pay for our liabilities. Letting our money work for you. We've never been told that. So we don't know. It's like Spanish. It's like Spanish. That's right. Because, I was talking to the gentleman, my representative, my investment representative told me. I told him a couple of days ago before I set an appointment up with him. He said that a lot of stuff that he was talking about is Spanish to me. Because I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I hear it, but I don't comprehend it. I don't understand. So when you don't understand something, you ask questions. So what I did this past couple of days, I think on Monday or Tuesday, I wrote down 7 or 8 different questions. So when I went there today and talked about investing in a Roth IRA for my retirement, I had all these questions that I wasn't sure of. Some people said this, and I did some research on the internet. That's what it's there for. I did some research, and I wasn't too sure about what's what. So when I went there, he cleared it all up. He said, that was a good question. That was a good question. A good question. And he cleared it up. So now I understand now. All right? But it still is going to be a process because it's something I never did before. But the key to success is that you can't continue to do the things you're doing and expect a different outcome. It's not going to happen. You have to do something different to get a different outcome. Praise be to God. Woo! Boy, that's hot. All right, mind your own business. Their company, paycheck, the government, taxes, the bank, all these things, as human beings, we expect a paycheck at the end of the week, every week or every 2 weeks, or some people once a month. The government is going to take their share first before you even get your check. Lastly, in the bank, if you go out and get a loan for a house or a car, you're paying them back because you're creating a liability. You're creating a liability. All right? All right? Don't confuse your profession with your business. Your asset column. You got to create an asset column. The majority of us don't have an asset column. I'm just getting ready to started creating my asset column today when I did that Roth IRA. Now, I got to do some more research because it don't stop there. I got to, you remember we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, that I said that you have to assign where you want that money to go. You remember we talked about zero budgeting plan? Assign each dollar where you want it to go. That's what I have to do. Now, I have to do some more research now on some 3 suggestions that he gave me and do some research to see what's going to be more beneficial for me. You got to assign the money. All right? You got to assign it. All right. The traditional school And job path is generally a necessary thing. I just told you that. Generally speaking, in the African American community, get an education, go to school, get your job. That's all we're doing. That's it. All right? But the problem is not that you use to become what you study. Instead of allowing that to happen to you, don't lose yourself in your schooling or job. Rather, focus on your asset column. There it is. That's the key. You can keep your day job, but put your money in assets. Businesses. Put it in businesses. Like I just told you. Eventually, if the Lord open the door for me, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to do that certified financial planner, certified financial planning program, and be out there. Yes, I'm not in it for the money. It's not the money. Yes, if I can make some extra money to put into assets, I'll do that. But I'm here to help the people. All right. Wherever I can sit down and explain certain things to a person to help them do better, that's what it's all about. And I believe God will make a way when He said when it's in due season. All right. Put it in stocks, put it in bonds, put it in mutual funds, put it in rental properties. All right? So these things can create assets, not liabilities. All right? Praise be to God. Wow. All right. Let's get on and get into part 7, and we're going to get into our last 3 lessons that we need to learn about Rich Dad Poor Dad. The key to financial success is training. And the question is still on the table. Who's been training you about your finances? Who? Where did you learn it from? Or you don't know, like I didn't know. I ain't ashamed to say it. I was an idiot. Didn't know nothing about it. All I knew, I get my paycheck, I'm going to buy what I want to buy, when I want to buy, go where I want to go, and spend it on who I want to spend it on. And don't have a dime in the bank. Now, we're going to get into that too, because the bank, you put money in the bank, that's fine and well to have a check account if that's what you want to do. But the bank, you're not going to get rich putting your money in the bank. You can forget about it. They're going to give you as little as possible because they're using their money to make money off of your money. So that's why you're going to take your money and invest it so it can give you a good return or rate on your money so you can use that as assets and use that to help pay for your liabilities. All right? Praise be to God. All right, we don't have to go back. We'll go back to the Rich Dad Poor Dad summary again. Then we're gonna get into our last 3 lessons that we need to do in this lesson number 7. Everybody should go to school, right? You should. You gotta get an education. You gotta get something. At least a high school education. Or once you get out of high school, get you a certified position. Because certifications is the key to making money. Yes, you can go to high school and you can go to college and get a 4-year degree. I got a 4-year degree. Don't mean nothing. You got to have a certified position where you can demand your money. And that's what I do in my day job. I'm in the mental health field. I deal with substance abuse and mental health clients. And I can demand my price because they're willing to pay the wage. Now, if I get into this, and I ain't going to say if, I am going to get into this certified financial planning career, and that will help create more income so it can go into my assets. All right? Praise be to God. But it's not going to, don't concentrate on the schooling and the job. You got to concentrate on creating assets so you can start letting those assets, let your money work for you. All right? Everybody should go to school, get high grades, and then get a good job, right? Wrong. Well, at least, we just talked about this, if financial independence is what you are aiming at, our education system is the number one cause of why so many people struggle financially. That is so true, because it's not taught in schools. It has to be taught by the parents. It starts at home. And if it's not taught in the household, you will never know, like I never knew. And I grew up an idiot because I didn't know. Now, the first 15 years, like I said before, the first 15 years after I got out of high school, all right, really, okay, let's see, 15, I've lost 30 years. So at 18, yeah, it was 30. From age 18 to about, I was maybe 33, 34 years old, I heard nothing about finances. All my aunt told me to do, if you get you a job, you can buy what you want. See? That's all I heard. Get you a job. After you get out of school, get you a job. You want to go to college? Fine. Go to college, do all those things. And I did that. I went to trade school. I became a beautician, a licensed beautician. I traveled around the country, did hair, did all that stuff. I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. All right. I did that. I went into the military. I went into the military. Came back. I still didn't hear nothing about finances. All right. Got into the church. I got saved. Got called into the ministry at a very young age, in my early 20s. All right. But I didn't hear nothing about finances until I came to North Carolina, and I sat under my late Bishop Mac Timberlake, and his wife, Brenda Timberlake. That's when he started teaching teaching finance. I never heard that before. All I heard was bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, and God will open up a window so he'll open up the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing so big that you won't be able to receive. That's all I heard. And I ain't understand that. I understood it, but did I really understand the principle? Yes and no. All right, I really didn't know. All right, so from 18 to about 34, I heard nothing about finances. Nothing. Zilcho. Go to work, buy what you want. Go where you want to go. If you got the money, pay for it, fine. But no money in the bank. No assets, but plenty of liabilities. All right? I hope you're getting this. I'm telling you from personal experience. Schools teach people how to work for money. That's what they do. I just told you my story. Majority of us, I ain't saying all, but generally speaking. But they do not teach them how money can work for them. That is so true. The lack of financial skills taught in skills mean, this lack of financial skills taught in school means that even highly educated people generally do not know how to handle money. And that is so true. The result is that the majority of people get trapped in work to pay their bills. That's right. Have you ever heard the saying, live from paycheck to paycheck? That's it. Because you have not been trained financially about how you create assets to pay for your liabilities. And then when you do that, you can work yourself out of a job and let that money work for you. It ain't no sense of getting mad at those that are wealthy and rich. You can do the same principle, but you got to learn. You got to be willing to sacrifice. You got to be willing. It's not going to come to you overnight. All right? The result is that the majority of people get trapped in the work to pay their bills and are chasing paychecks all their life. That's so true. Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad and Poor Dad, has been called the #1 personal financial book of all time. You got to get the book. All right, I recommend it highly. All right, boasting over 26 million copies sold. In his book, Mr. Kiyosaki illustrates that mindsets is here. The scripture says, let this mind be in you, that's also in Christ Jesus. In Romans 12:2, be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your what? Of your mind. Praise be to God. Be ye transformed. All right? Illustrate that mindsets and beliefs make the rich rich and the poor poor. That's right, it's your mindset. You got to change your thinking pattern about money and what the purpose is money for you. I already told you in the beginning that it's an exchange method, but you got to learn how to create assets and let the money work for you. See, I already told you, you got to learn that there's risk in everything you do in life. There's a risk in going to work every day. You ain't guaranteed a paycheck. You hope and pray that you get a paycheck come Friday. You go out there and do the work here, you hoping to get that paycheck. But it ain't nothing guaranteed. You hope and pray that you go out there and go out there and start your car. You hope your car starts that you can go to work. Because if you in certain areas where you live at, like especially in the rural areas of North Carolina, you ain't got no car, you stuck. You up the creek. You can't get to work. So how you gonna get to work? How you gonna pay your bills? There it is. There's a risk, isn't it? But that's the risk that you take. Anything made by man is going to fail you sooner or later. All right? Sooner or later, it's going to fail you. So you got to put some things in place and start trusting in God. If God gives you a means to do something, take that and put it in something. God talked about, I told you before, God talks more about money, finance in the Bible than he talks about anything else. Because he wants you to be able to free your money up so you can be a more blessing to the kingdom and blessing to others. Because as you bless others, he shall bless you. Pressed down, shaken together, running over. shall he give into your bosom. Praise be to God. This is huge.